This is the College Football Connection podcast with Marty Jenkins and Alvin Reed on 101 ESPN.
One last Tiger walk, one last showcase for a number of true sons, and one final opportunity for the regular season in 2024. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and welcome in to our special presentation during the holiday week. College Football Connection Battle Line Rivalry preview for you only on 101 ESPN, the YouTube channel, plus 101ESPN.com. My name is Bradford Bruns. Wherever you are out there, hope that you and yours are enjoying the very best holiday stretch, the best to you and yours, the best sentiments and wishes as we get ready for rivalry weekend in college football across the land. It's week number 14, and we are setting our sights squarely on Memorial Stadium, where for the final time on Saturday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. kickoff to be precise, and perhaps under some snowfall to boot, Brady Cook and a number of his teammates will be going out there at Faurot Field for the final time and getting recognized accordingly. Arkansas is the opponent. This is an annual showdown now, and one that Missouri has dominated in the series for the better part of the past decade. Now, I don't think any of us are going to be operating, though, under the delusion that the 2024 installment of this tilt is necessarily going to be reminiscent of what we saw last November. That game, of course, it was contested on Black Friday. It was in Fayetteville, and it was exceedingly ugly for the host squad. 48-14, in case you can't quite recall, in case you had to step away from the TV for whatever reason during that stretch. Cody Schrader led the way for the Tigers with 200-plus yards on the ground in that affair. And it really set the table for so many different things to come in the month of December, ultimately culminating, of course, in that Cotton Bowl triumph over the Ohio State University. Now, being on the precipice of the college football playoff, despite what happened last weekend, despite your bounce back versus Mississippi State in Starkville, that is not exactly going to come to fruition for this iteration of the Missouri Tigers. But for Cook, among others, this opportunity to go out in front of the Faurot Field faithful, in front of what is sure to be a packed house, it is a tremendous opportunity, regardless, to close it down regular season style, at least for a class that will go down as one of the most accomplished and decorated in Missouri football program history. One more note about last week's game. We talked about just a couple of minutes ago, of course, how Cody Schrader led the way from the ground standpoint last year versus the Hogs. Well, in last weekend's 39-20 victory over Mississippi State, it was the ground game, and it was the offensive line, which, despite being compromised from a personnel standpoint, led the way and allowed Nate Noel, Marcus Carroll, Jamal Roberts, you name the tailback, to wreak havoc against the Bulldogs in their own home venue. Mississippi State, of course, staying winless. Arkansas, on the opposite side of the ledger this weekend, has had a bounce-back campaign to a point in 2024. You think about last year's regular season finale. Arkansas wasn't even close to going bowling, right? 4 victories overall, only one of which, though, came in conference play. And yet, flash forward to 2024, and you still detect a Razorback squad that has the 11th place position at present in the SEC standings and is looking to generate more in the way of momentum heading into its own bowl contest here in a few weeks. So, few different matchups that we want to examine during this edition of the College Football Connection. Specifically, is the running game for MU going to be able to dominate in the vein that it did just a few days ago? For crying out loud, Missouri held the ball in that tilt for almost 42 minutes. Tremendous third down conversion rate. And up front, to me, I'm even more inspired given the knowledge that Connor Tollison, who could have been NFL bound, now Missouri enthusiasts do have the assurance there that he will be back for another season, but sidelined a few weeks ago, was rolled up on during the Oklahoma game, out for the season. Drake Heismeyer, the fifth-year senior, as the fill-in center, he has been so much more than that. He's been the captain of sorts along the line there for the Tigers, and you always are going to get the most immense contributions from Mimbu, from Johnson on the right side. I would anticipate more of the same heading into this matchup. As Missouri, there's no reason not to play more of a ball control style of game against the Razorbacks. If you allow for the other side, and there are a lot of skilled players to be had for Sam Pittman and company, but if you can keep Green off to the sidelines, if you can minimize the contributions down the field of Armstrong at wide receiver, of Jackson at running back, these are reliable contributors, and especially split out wide, we understand how susceptible the Missouri secondary has been on a number of different occasions this season. So is Missouri willing to play nasty, to get nasty in the elements? In all likelihood, again, I think that is going to be paramount to the success of the program this Saturday in an emotionally high-octane situation at that. Speaking of those who are going to be taking that walk before kickoff at 2:30 in mid-Missouri, we know that Cook falls under that category, under that umbrella. So many more do as well. But earlier in the week, there was speculation in the media room. What is to come? What is to happen with respect to the status of, say, a Luther Burden III? It is, for all intents and purposes, a foregone conclusion that LB3 is going to be declaring for the NFL draft. He is expected to be in the range of maybe a top 10 to top 15 pick next spring. Nonetheless, the head coach Eli Drinkwitz was adamant that a plan has been discussed, it has been put into place, and you're going to see something special from LB3 and those close to him on Saturday as well. Take a listen.
In 2020. I have had conversations with Luther. We are in those conversations. I'm never going to steal anybody's thunder or spotlight, but I would just say that we're very fortunate for Luther to have been here for 3 seasons. He will walk on Saturday. No decisions have been made, but that is an opportunity for him to make a decision without having, thinking that he didn't get a chance to say goodbye to his to the fans. So he will walk Saturday, similar to when I believe Nick Bolton walked in 2020.
And indeed, Bolton did, no question about it, then moving on to great success, professionally speaking, with the Kansas City Chiefs. So there should be one more signature moment for Luther Burden III on the heels of tremendous performances in back-to-back weeks as well. To wit, in the South Carolina game, you thought that was a highlight reel-worthy play that would go down in the annals of Missouri football history. Unfortunately, the Gamecocks stormed back with a couple of minutes to spare, pull out the victory and pull out the hearts collectively of Mizzou Nation. And then last weekend, how many other individuals in the whole country, regardless of level, are able to pull out and have the body control, make the adjustment like that on the touchdown toss from Brady Cook? Something special, and Brady Cook's performance, for that matter, last weekend, something special to note as well on the College Football Connection, on the 101 ESPN YouTube channel and 101ESPN.com. Deadly efficient, 15 of 20 for more than 250 yards passing. That was a season-high total in the yardage department, and most important of all, the offense continuing to do a phenomenal job of not turning the ball over. Now, earlier in the week, Cook was asked, of course, about what exactly this means to him, being a local kid, a native St. Louis, and somebody who grew up on the prep scene and experienced wild success, always followed the Tigers, and then was able to live out, really, his lifelong dream of starring on campus. It has been, at times, admittedly, a tumultuous, rocky road, but to get the opportunity to weather the injury storm in the second half of this season and then play against South Carolina at Williams-Brice Stadium, to have one last visit to Starkville and then one last home game at Faurot Field, he is going to be juiced up to the nth degree for this battle against Arkansas. Should be highly entertaining, emotional, as we said as well, and perhaps a snow game to which a lot of us have been looking forward to cover. Yours truly over the last few years. Those opportunities just don't come along very often as you head into the waters of late November and December in mid-Missouri. We'll hope that you've enjoyed a little bit of this game preview for you tomorrow, for that matter, as well. It is Rivalry Week, getting off to a bang as far as a 4-pack of games. You have Oklahoma State, you have Colorado, Georgia Tech appearing, for that matter, on the 101 ESPN airwaves, and then Boise State, Oregon State also getting after it. My guys, Marty and Alvin, they're enjoying the Thanksgiving festivities with their family right now. But rest assured, next week, all of us are going to be back in the studio as we look ahead to championship week. And maybe I'll have a little preview for you as well about what could be on the distinct horizon for Missouri after covering the festivities against the Arkansas Razorbacks. For now, have a great one. Have a tremendous post-Thanksgiving period as well, and always appreciate and are grateful for you out there listening to us on 101 ESPN. Take care, everybody.
You've been listening to the College Football Connection podcast with Marty Jenkins and Alvin Reed on 101 ESPN Sports Talk for St. Louis.